All right, everyone, welcome back. I am doing this audio only because honestly, I'm currently laying in bed and I wanted to be comfortable for just kind of giving an update on everything that's been going on. As you can tell from the title of this video, we're in a little bit of a slump and it's been pretty challenging for me. Not gonna lie, I feel like I've been on such a good trajectory with releasing weight and overall seeing my happiness improve since November. And I have been in a pretty deep slump for, I would say, the past like 2 months, maybe like month and a half, which has been really frustrating. I will say I have gone back and watched some of my old videos that I recorded in like December, and I was talking about hitting plateaus back then, which is just ironic because I guess I have been hitting plateaus this entire time, but I haven't hit quite the slump that I have in this very moment. And it's been just really overall frustrating. From November till June, I have lost a total of about, I've released a total of about 70 pounds, give or take. And it is now July of 2025. I have not released any additional weight since June. It's August tomorrow. And the entire month of July has spent fluctuating between 5 pounds. And I do mean fluctuating because I keep going up and down and up and down. And it's just irritating to see. Now, as we know, there's a lot of different aspects to this journey that's not just around weight. There are so many other wins that I have seen throughout this time, but weight is really, truly one of the biggest things to me and something that I have worked the hardest to achieve. And so seeing an entire month of a slump is really, I keep using the word frustrating, but I don't know what other word comes to mind. It's very frustrating. I have been dealing with a lot at work and just figuring out what my future career looks like, which has definitely put me in sort of a limbo. And I was under the impression to my own mind that this is the reason that I have fallen into this slump because I have just been stressed out about my career and I don't really know what my next steps are going to be. And that's what I was attributing all of this slump to. But through my NLP session yesterday, I recognized that it's not that. Maybe that's a part of it, but it's not fully that. I do just want to backtrack and talk about what I mean when I say slump because I have not gone back to my old ways at all whatsoever, not even close. There's no thought of it. So I just want to be very clear. And that's something that I actually do need to remind myself that just because I'm not being perfect in my day to day and what I'm doing, it is nothing like how I used to be. And no matter what, that will always be a win. So even if I'm eating a little bit off than the way that I want to be eating, I'm still avoiding so many foods just to give you an idea of what talking about when I'm referring to the fact that I'm in the slump and not eating the best. It's literally just that I've eaten a little bit more rice than I have been and some cheese. But that's it. Like I'm still actively avoiding every other type of starch, all corn, all potatoes. I just won't go down that path. But I've had some rice, like I had pad see ew, I had sushi, I've made crispy rice and a little bit more than I would like to be having. So in the grand scheme of things, it's still not a lot. And this is actually I'd be okay eating this way when I get to the weight that I want to be at. But right now, when I am in weight release mode, my body, the way that it works, I have to avoid all sugar and fats. And the starches and carbs turn into sugar, and then fats, meaning the dairy and the cheese. And I really just need to avoid that in order to see my body release weight. When you look at it from bird's eye view, I don't know if that's the right saying, but that's how I'm looking at it right now. The fact that I have fluctuated 5 pounds, like that's not bad. Again, in the grand scheme of things, I would be okay fluctuating 5 pounds when I'm at a weight that I want to be at. But I have been so used to releasing so much weight every single month and every single week and every single day that seeing the scale go up is not really something that I enjoy. Again, it hasn't gone up so significantly, but it's just a period that's been up and down, and that's been hard. So, like I said, I just want to be very clear and I need to pat myself on the back because I have not reverted to old ways. We are not binge eating. We are not eating super unhealthy. It's just been a little bit more rice and cheese than ideally I would like to have in my diet. I just need to hone in and focus on my body releasing a lot of the weight. But as we know, or as I know through this process, the reason why this is happening, what I have learned is that when you experience certain emotions, and this is what has happened to me from the start with binge eating, when you suppress your emotions, you turn to something to push those emotions down. And that's how many addictions form, not all, but a lot of addictions. So for me, I was turning to food to avoid feeling the feelings that I should have been feeling. Again, that all happens unconsciously and you don't realize it's happening, but that is why I have had this experience specifically with food. So when all of a sudden you're doing really well, and then all of a sudden you experience this slump or these urges to eat food that you weren't eating before, then it has to be some sort of emotion that is coming up that you're actively avoiding to feel. I hope I explained this all correctly. It makes so much sense in my head and it makes so much sense when it's explained to me. And I feel like maybe somebody from the outside is like, this sounds crazy. I don't know what she's talking about, but it all it's science. It's science. So without going into too much detail, just to explain kind of I guess what's been going on in my head. So I had these feelings around a situation and I was really upset about the situation. And in my head I kept telling myself that you shouldn't be upset about the situation. I keep saying situation. Now it's starting to not sound like a word. But I was almost getting mad at myself for feeling upset. Now, the problem with that is because I was mad at myself for feeling upset, I wasn't letting myself get even more upset and feel the feelings that I should have been feeling. I was shoving it down and bring in said item that I like to shove my emotions down with, and that is food. So I brought this up with my NLP coach and I just explained that I was still sad around this situation. Now, because she's an expert in what she does, she dug and we got there together. This wasn't something that was like conscious or like top of mind all the time, but we got there together. And so that's how we discovered what it was that was really eating at me. No pun intended. When we made that discovery, I was honest and said, like, I just feel silly feeling upset about the situation. I maybe feel ungrateful if I feel upset about the situation, and I don't ever want to feel like that. And she told me that these are my feelings, and you're feeling what you're feeling. You don't have to voice every feeling that you're feeling. Like, this is your own personal opinion. And if you're sad about something or upset, you're allowed to be sad and you just need to experience that emotion. You don't need to push it down. You don't need to suppress it. Again, sometimes unconsciously or consciously, we're doing these things. But even if it feels like the most irrational feeling in the world, it's still a feeling that you are feeling. And to try and suppress it and not acknowledge it is going to lead your brain to look for something to do that. Was that even a sentence? I don't know, but I think I'm getting my point across. I hope I'm getting my point across. Anyways, that definitely feels like it was it because today I had a much easier day in regards to eating. I didn't have any cravings and I just ate clean and what I need to eat in order to release weight. Do have some other stuff going on and other discoveries that we did make, and that is for a whole other episode, but it is around limiting beliefs. Not just limiting beliefs, actually. It's more so making a deal with yourself. Like, I will do XYZ when I get to this point in my life. And the problem is, if that XYZ is scary, your brain is going to do everything it can to avoid that. So, for example, if I tell myself that I will date or I will start going out with guys or just meeting guys when I lose the weight, but I am afraid to start dating and putting myself out there, then my body is not going to let me lose the weight because why would it allow me to do something that I am telling myself that I'm so uncomfortable with? Your brain loves comfort. So if I'm telling myself in my mind that, oh, I'll do this when I lose the weight, well, my body's not going to let me lose the weight. It's going to hold on to it because it doesn't want me to put myself in an uncomfortable situation, which for me is thinking about dating. So that's a whole nother topic. I'm not going to go too much into detail about that, but just to give you an idea of the things that we do uncover during these sessions. Going back to what I just said, something that I learned in a meditation that I was listening to is that when you are going through a transformation process, you are going to have days where you just do not feel good. You actually kind of feel negative and like your body is resisting the changes that you're trying to make. And what that is your brain trying to create these new neural pathways because it's so used to the paths that you already have built out from years of programming. And for you to go and disrupt the normal and try and create something new is actually going to make you feel physically uncomfortable, and something that I have actually experienced because even these past 3 days that I've decided to wake up early before work, create a morning routine, go to the beach, go on a walk, do these things that I was not doing before, for some reason I wasn't like happy. Like I was happy that I was doing it, but deep down I felt this like weird feeling in my body that I actually couldn't explain. And I journaled about it because I was like, I just feel off. Like something is off. I almost feel like negative and it just doesn't make sense. And then I heard in this meditation exactly what I said before about my brain creating new pathways and my body just being uncomfortable because I'm doing something so completely different. I was like, huh, that makes a lot of sense. So, anyways, that's where we're at. Just wanted to give an update on the slump. I am really hoping the next time I come on here, I will have more positive updates. But as you know, this journey has a lot of ups and downs and it's going to have plateaus, some longer than others. But the point of documenting it all is so that I can look back at this day when I have released 100 more pounds. And I'm like, remember when I was, so upset about this? Well, look at where we are now. And that's why I'm doing this all. So thank you for taking the time to listen. I always appreciate everybody that does listen to what I have to say. If you have any feedback, please let me know. But I appreciate it, and I will see you on the next one. Bye.